You know the two teams that are going to be in action. Like I told you, it is PSG and Inter Milan. We are beginning our talk with PSG, who are going to be playing in the final tomorrow. I'm going to get on the phone lines and talk to my first guy who says he believes PSG will be champions of the UEFA Champions League tomorrow. So now Akwasi Baffour has joined me on the phone line and we are raring to go. It is all about the UEFA Champions League final coming on tomorrow. Baffour believes that PSG will be champions. Baffour, in the next 4 minutes, you have the floor to tell us why you think PSG will be champions of this title.
Ivan, a very good afternoon to all your listeners and everybody listening to the show this afternoon. In football, there's something called capital investment aid. Mm-hmm. And whenever investment goes into football, it definitely brings results. I feel that Paris Saint-Germain is almost becoming the black sheep among their peers. You see, over across the globe, every team that have invested monies into their clubs have one way or the other gotten a trophy to represent for. You look at the Chelsea project, which have yielded results since Roman Abramovich invested money. Newcastle just recently even won a trophy, even though they've not gotten so much investment. The Manchester City project keeps on blooming. There have been other several clubs who are not big wigs in the European football system, of which, because of capital investment aid, they've been able to make it out. But it looks like PSG is almost becoming perennial underachievers. Over the years, they've tried to sign certain big players and certain big stars onto their system, but they always fail to glitter. Don't forget that the last time they were in the Champions League final, they had Kylian Mbappe, they had Neymar dos Santos Jr., they had big players on the free, but they lost that final to Bayern Munich 1-0 goal courtesy Kingsley Coman. But I've been looking at how the PSG project have gone so far, from the days of Laurent Blanc to Carlo Ancelotti, to the days of Unai Emery, coming down to Thomas Tuchel, the last coach who took them to a Champions League final, of which they lost 5 years ago, and down to the era of Mauricio Pochettino. Clearly, there was something that was missing from the PSG roots. They needed a manager who will install discipline and who will fix up the right project. And since the arrival of Luis Enrique, who is also a Champions League winner for that matter, has installed all these things within them. Now PSG do not necessarily depend so much on big name players, because they've come to the point and understood that football is not always about buying big, but getting the right system and the right technical plans. You definitely need to go there. Aside that, this season PSG have had very interesting results. They've been scoring a lot of goals and they have had a very good season, and especially in the Champions League, certain games that we didn't expect to get to glitter, because in the group phases at some point PSG looked like elimination was staring in their faces, but out of nowhere, how they rose above sea level, beat Manchester City, secured a playoff stage. Then they won 10-0 on aggregate at the playoff stage. In the round of 6, rose above sea level, beat Manchester City, secured a playoff stage. Then they won 10-0 on aggregate at the playoff stage. In the round of 16, major people felt that PSG was going to falter as usual to Liverpool, but they defied the odds. Even though we can't make a clear case that Aston Villa and Arsenal are big wits that can decide the status of the Champions League, but I feel that PSG have had a very wonderful season. Aside that, Ivan, numerology and the omen that get along with this particular competition,
I like
most
that.
of them are walking towards the way of PSG. You know that the number 5 has always not been a lucky number for the Italian teams whenever we talk about the Champions League final. So it brings a lot of depictness. You see, aside 1965 and 1975, where we didn't get an Italian team getting into the final, aside these 2 years, all the other years that ends with 5-5-5-5. Ivan, when the Italian team is in the final, it has always been a fiasco for them.
Okay.
In 2005, we saw a Milan club losing again, and then Ivan, the venue is also an intriguing. But I feel that football is played on the field of play. But aside all these things, I feel PSG have worked very hard and they deserve to be the European champions.
So there you have it from Nana Akwasi Baffour, who believes that PSG will be champions. Inter Milan, Pazza Inter is the anthem.
El sogno che ho è un coro che sale a sognare, si aiuta la notte, 90 minuti per segnare, nerazzurri, noi saremo qui nerazzurri, pazzi come te, nerazzurri, lo fateci soffrire, ma va bene, vinceremo insieme. Amala, pazza intera mala, è una gioia infinita che dura una vita, pazza intera mala. Vivila, questa gioia vivila, può durare una vita, una sola partita, pazza intera mala.
Adam Nazir Sports Madiba is on the phone lines right now. Inter is winning. Tell us why you think Inter is winning in the next 4 minutes.
The first time that they reached the final against Bayern Munich, they played everything that they could play. The experience and everything was what was lacking. Now they are going into the Champions League final with players that, for me, I think they have the talent. But in terms of the know-how, they don't have it. The front line is comprised of Bradley Barcola, Desiree Dewey, Fisher Varaskela, Ivan. Granted, they are talented players by all standard. But when it comes to the biggest of stages, Ivan, who are you going to rely on?
The experienced players.
Whereby Inter Milan can count on Lautaro Javier Martinez, somebody that at the biggest of stages in the Champions World Cup final, he stepped up and he scored from the penalty spot for Argentina and route into them winning. That is the World Cup. In the Copa America, Ivan, he was the top scorer in the Copa America, the last Copa America. So they have the two, they have the men. As some politicians say, they have the men. At the back end, that is the World Cup. In the Copa America, Ivan, he was the top scorer in the Copa America, the last Copa America. So they have the two, they have the men. As some politicians say, they have the men. At the back line, Ivan, Fanuka Achebi at 87, and he was able to mash out a player that people are taping to win the Ballon d'Or in Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
How much less David Dewey, Bakola Ivan. But I think this one is a bit mismatched. Then also, we look at the coach on the touchline. We say Enrique Martinez has the pedigree because they won the Champions League before Ivan. Look at this coach.
Simeone Inzaghi.
For the last 8 years or last 5 years, which coach has been in the final? Is it not Simeone Inzaghi? And a chunk of the players that will be playing tomorrow are still there for Inter Milan.
Okay.
You look at the back line, and the only changes will be the road third, whereby you have Yansoma coming in for that, the second and Onana. For me, I think, even if you look at Onana, Yansoma, Ivan, for me, I think it's mismatch. Yansoma has shown his quality throughout the years and even this season Champions League. So everything that Inter Milan needs, Ivan is on their side. Also, look at the records. Look at the team that eliminated. They eliminated the team that everybody was sitting to in the Champions League, and that is Barcelona.
Yeah.
If you eliminate Aston Villa, I believe you watch Aston Villa against PSG. They should have eliminated PSG. If not for the profligacy of the attackers, Oli Watkins and Marco Asensio, they should have eliminated them. They met an Arsenal team in the second leg who played against Gianluigi Donnarumma. Donnarumma was the man between Arsenal and equalizing from the deficit in the first leg. For me, I think when it comes to this final, Ivan, it's not about long, it's not about tactics, it's not about anything, it's about the know-how.
Okay.
PSG will come in to possess the ball. The Inter Milan will always go in for efficiency. And with the kind of players that they have, Ivan, they can be able to
beat
any other team in the world. And for me, Ivan, with this little thing I've said, I think you don't need a Susia to tell the Champions League how those that it goes for. Somebody will tell you that it happened. The last time that we played a global competition, team that haven't won it. But Ivan, let's not forget, this season, before I end, which team won the Conference League?
Chelsea,
they had somebody wearing the captain armband. Which country was he from? No, Enzo Fernandez captain the team from the onset.
Okay.
My friend.
Then
look at Tottenham. Which player was the captain?
Christian Romero.
Which country is he from?
Argentina.
Tomorrow, which player will be captain in Milan?
Lautaro Martinez.
Which country is he from?
Argentina.
Chat Nacho, no long talk.
There you have it. We have talked about the two teams who is winning tomorrow. Is it Inter Milan or is it PSG? It was in for see. PSG Inter tomorrow is a final. Utimu nkaho Obasa ne o Real Madrid ne o Chelsea ne ho they are not part for mugina nchen echina yina ye de ani kire Inter Milan echi ne akọ support you because eni say Dembele e win no je Ballon d'Or sana Barca for neka Real Madrid fans no so say echina yina ye de support ko Inter echi because ochina no eni say PSG Champions League ja Mbappe ye na ye mpese Lamine Yamal so beje no yes so yeah call PSG because omo Gina Dembele gia UEFA Nations League Club World Cup ni nyina no Dembele bet me afa ho de age Ballon d'Or. My name is Dennis Ivan Opoku. Have a great Friday. Let's meet later.